Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. The Academy Award nominations are officially out. A few snubs and a few surprises. There were snubs in the film soundtrack category. Most notably was Radiohead's Johnny Greenwood, and of course John Hurwitz's work on First Man, criminally overlooked on both counts. But this got me thinking about the complex world of movie soundtracks and the creative process of any music that we just don't get to see. And have you ever wondered what goes on behind the scenes? And if you have, would you dare take a peek behind the curtain? So Scott Freiman, he is the co-founder and CEO of Qwire, SaaS firm founded by production music veterans, all with the goal of simplifying how music supervisors, editors, composers and administrators all handle the business of getting music synced to pictures. And Qwire's suite of products are designed to cover the entire life cycle of music post-production to help eliminate the headaches of data scattered across multiple spreadsheets, stacks of paper and software applications. And after the interview, he also told me that you wouldn't believe how many famous movie and TV studios are dealing with ineligible handwriting on scraps of paper. I think it's a fascinating story and a real eye-opener, and perfectly timed with what everyone's talking about at the moment with the Academy Awards coming up. So I hope you enjoyed this one as much as I did, but let's get him on. So buckle up and hold on tight so I can beam your ears all the way to Los Angeles so we can speak with Scott Freiman from Qwire. So a massive warm welcome to the show, Scott. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Yes, my name is Scott Freiman. I am CEO of a company called Qwire, which develops cloud-based music solutions for everyone involved with music for media.
Now, from doing a little bit of research, I quickly learned that Qwire is a SaaS firm founded by production music veterans that simplify how music supervisors, editors, composers and administrators handle the business of getting music synced to pictures. I mean, can you tell me a little bit more about the story behind Qwire and the kind of problems that you encountered and what made you want to set out on this journey to solve them?
Sure. Well, when you work in film or TV or any other form of media, and you're working with music, you often are dealing with lots of different people. There are the people who are writing original music. There are people who are licensing the music and going through the process of researching music rights and negotiating rates with multiple parties. There are the people who actually have the music who want to license it. There are people who need to edit this all together and sync it to picture. There are people who need to report it to agencies and performance rights organizations like ASCAP and BMI, PRS. And you find out that all of these people tend to be working in their own environments with their own spreadsheets and file cabinets full of paper, and that the same data is getting entered over and over again. And our original thought when we formed Qwire was, how do we make it so that the first person who enters the data, the one who really needs that piece of information, how can we make it so that that data flows through the chain and everyone else can benefit from that? And cut out a lot of the data entry, make everything run much more efficiently, cut costs, help improve people getting paid for their music, and so forth. And so that's what we've been doing with Qwire, and we have a pretty broad vision to tackle this across all different verticals in the media space.
Now, I also read that Qwire's suite of products are designed to cover the entire life cycle of music post-production to essentially help eliminate the headaches of data that's scattered across multiple spreadsheets, scats of paper and software applications. But I've got to ask, is it really true that soundtracks to the shows and films that we all love and everyone listening love have a secret that they're often born out of stacks of paper, overwhelming desks dotted in Post-its? Is that true?
Yes, that's absolutely true. Obviously, music is getting on TV and getting in films. So it's not like we're not able to do the work. But the way we're doing it, the way people are working today is very, very cumbersome. For example, if you take a song like a Bruno Mars song, like Uptown Funk, there are 10 plus different publishers, There's a person who owns the company that owns the master recording. There are writers who are supposed to get royalties paid. So trying to track down all those parties, trying to negotiate who has the right to license this song, what are the fees, what are the splits, how am I going to use the song, and be tracking that while you're also tracking 3 or 4 or 10 different other choices for that same scene in the movie. The way people are traditionally doing that today, a lot of spreadsheets or Google Docs and a lot of paper, because there are letters that go to the holder of the master, for example, the record label. Then there's a letter that comes back from the record label. Then there's a confirmation back that I got your letter and I agree to the price. Then there's a letter that says I'm actually going to use the song now. And all of these pieces of paper are stored in someone's manila folder. So if you're not at your desk, if you're not there with the paper, you can't get access to it. And anyone else in the chain who's trying to get budgets together, people further up the chain in the studio, are reliant now on those people who have those spreadsheets and those paper files to funnel up the information. So it's a process that is working today, but working incredibly inefficiently.
And for many people listening, they'll be blissfully unaware that their favourite soundtrack is actually part of a $4 billion a year industry with more than 2 million musical works licensed annually. But can you set the scene a little and help the listeners understand how the whole process works?
Well, it's music rights are very, very complex, and depending on what country you're in, where the writer and the publisher and the record label are located, whether this is airing on TV or in a movie theater or in a video game, the rights and who gets paid are different. But in general, you're paying a right to the person who owns the recording of the song. You're paying a fee to the people who own the publishing of the song, the right to let you use that song in what's called sync, meaning against picture. And then you're ultimately paying royalties to the people who wrote the music and again to the publishers. And so in order to complete a transaction, to put music in a TV show or in a film, you have to identify all those parties. You have to find out what percentage ownership they have, where do I mail the checks, and all of that. And so there are all these different people, and those dollars add up quite a bit. There's a lot of money being spent on film soundtracks and TV soundtracks. A primetime TV series in the States that is very music heavy might have a music budget of $100,000 or even more per episode. A blockbuster film could be millions of dollars, and that's just the license fees. That doesn't count the royalties that are being paid to these people once that movie is released or once the TV show is released.
So can you tell me a little bit more about your suite of products and how each one of those at Qwire helps tackle these problems?
So our main product today, our first commercially available product, is something we call Qwire Clear. And that is a product which centralizes the music clearance and licensing process. And what I mean by that is that what it does is it puts all of this information that are in the spreadsheets and the letters and so forth, it puts it in the cloud. And it lets the right people with the right authority create scenes of music, create music cues, automatically send letters out to all the parties, track the responses, track the statuses, track the budgets, compare and contrast, report, and do all of that work that is now very, very simplified because everyone is working off of the same page, so to speak, as opposed to everybody having their own separate systems and separate spreadsheets. And then the second part of this, which is a product we'll be releasing later this quarter, is something called Qwire Q. And that's designed to revolutionize the process of reporting what are called Q sheets to performance rights organizations and societies like ASCAP, BMI, PRS, GAMA, and so forth. And a Q sheet is supposed to list every piece of music that is part of a video production, how long that music lasted, was it in the background or in the foreground, who are the writers, who are the publishers, what are the splits of ownership, and then the societies track when that particular TV show is broadcast and pay royalties to the writers and publishers. Today, that process, again, it exists, but it's stuck in the last century. We're trying to update that.
And am I also correct in saying that these products have attracted interest from major studios and from pros who are interested in ways of reducing the pain of music clearance and those royalty payments that we talked about?
Yes, and we're talking to major players in Hollywood, in the film TV space, but also companies that produce trailers, companies that make video games, advertising. Really, everybody who works with music and video has the same general problem. How do I track all of my discussions and negotiations? How do I manage my budgets? How do I do the necessary reporting? So we're getting tremendous interest from all different people in all different verticals, all different size companies too.
And last year, Qwire picked up another $2 million in additional funding from current and new investors. So how is that funding helping you accelerate your plans?
Well, our major expense is technology, building really great state-of-the-art technology, making sure it's robust and it's incredibly secure, making sure that we stay up to date. And as we have lots of ideas coming from our clients and potential clients, we want to be able to build new products. So most of the money that we raise goes towards our technology team and making sure we have the best people working on the best products.
So what is your grand vision for Qwire, and how long do you think it realistically will take you to get where you want to be?
So my grand vision is that I want to be on the desktops or virtual desktops of everybody who works with music. I don't want to be on the creative side, the tools that are used to create music, to write music. I want to be taking all of the administrative work, the tremendous amount of administrative work, and simplifying that. And I want to do that across multiple verticals and do it globally.
And before I let you go, is there anything else that you can share with us today about the future of Qwire, and maybe any teasers that you can leave us with before you go?
Well, I will tell you that one of the great things about our company is we understand this space very well. And so when we talk to clients or potential clients, they're always suggesting new ideas. And so I think you'll see from us in the coming months and years many new products that are all related to the space, that all work together, and that will ultimately make everybody's life better, from the studios and the advertising agencies all the way down to the individual composers, music supervisors, and editors. And we're really, really excited about all of that.
And one other thing I've got to pick up before you go, because it'd be criminal of me not to mention this, because I've read that you're a Beatleologist and frequent lecture on the Beatles. So I've got to ask, what is a Beatleologist, and what is it that you talk about?
So I have created a series of lectures that have now been turned into several films called Deconstructing the Beatles. And what I do is I talk about the creative process that the Beatles used to write their music, to record it, the technology behind the music, the inspiration for their songs, the instrumentation, the mixers, and so forth. But I do it in a way that everyone can appreciate, from the avid Beatles fan to a college student who just loves the music, to people who really can't stand the Beatles but are curious what all the fuss is about. I have 7 films that have been released in theaters, a lot of DVDs, and more films are coming out this summer. So you can find more information about that at deconstructingthebeatles.com. I'm hoping to be in England, London, Liverpool this summer, by the way. And then you can find out more information about Qwire at qwire.com.
Fantastic. Well, if you're heading over here to the UK, we'll have to meet up when you come over to Liverpool, because it's only about an hour, 90 minutes away from me. So we'll have to hook up and have a beer. Maybe we can have this conversation in the cavern. That would be perfect, wouldn't it?
That would be a lot of fun.
Cool. Well, I wish you the best of luck for the future. And more than anything, though, just a big thank you for coming on and sharing the story of Qwire with me today.
Well, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And hope to see you in England soon.
Man, what a great story. But sometimes, do you ever wish you never took a peek behind the curtain and looked what really goes on? And do you think if you do, you lose a bit of the magic? Because the soundtracks to the shows and films that we love have a secret. They were all born out of stacks of paper and overwhelming desks dotted with post-its and whiteout. They sprang from personal spreadsheets that only one person can find or navigate, from data entered numerous times into multiple spreadsheets, keyed into multiple software applications and stored in multiple paper files. It's shocking. They involve negotiations with little or no historical information to reference, and mistakes that can cost in this up to 6 figures, and delays that mean payment headaches for writers, publishers and music labels. And I've got to be honest, never in a million years would I think about the creative process and all the problems that go on behind the scenes. But I guess nothing is as straightforward as it seems on the surface. But I love how Scott is leveraging technology to solve real problems and make those headaches disappear. As always, let me know what you took away from today's interview by emailing me, techblogwriter@outlook.com, or tweeting me at Neil C. Hughes. Also, why not send me your favourite soundtrack of all time? Go on, I know you want to tell me it's Rocky IV, that with that training montage and No Easy Way Out. No? Let me know, gang, and I'll read out a few over the next few episodes. But I'm in a movie watching kind of mood now, so I'm going to nip off and get some popcorn out, and I'll return the same time tomorrow. But a big thank you for listening as always, and until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.